and welcome to this live workshop on entrepreneurship. So the workshop today is called Entrepreneurship and You, and there will be a presentation by our MDX academic, that's Dr. Ignatius Ekanem. So he'll be here really to talk to you about this topic. So during the presentation, right, okay, feel free to ask us questions. The Q&A chat button at the bottom of the screen. And what will happen is that we will kind of gather all these questions and we will answer them. Dr. Ignatius will answer them at the end of his presentation when I will be asking him your questions. Okay, so I think we are ready to start, Dr. Ekanem. So if you can start sharing your screen, and the students should be with you shortly then.
Right, thank you very much. Right, bear with me, I'm trying to share the screen. Yeah, there we are now, okay. So I'd like to welcome you all to this lecture tonight, and I hope you will enjoy it. And we will take questions at the end, as you've just been told. I want to introduce you into entrepreneurship, as you'll be joining Middlesex University. Entrepreneurship will be one of the subjects that you may want to choose and study. And so we want to give you a kind of flavor of what to expect when you actually join. Okay, so in tonight's lecture, let me try and change it. Yes, we're going to examine a few things. And one of the things we want to look at will be to look at the factors that can influence you when you want to start your own business. What are the influences, that will influence you to start your own business? And then we look at the methods that you may employ in starting up your business. Okay, so we're going to distinguish between different startup situations and the kind of circumstances that surround each startup situation. And then we look at the various stages of the startup process. In starting a business, you need to go through a certain process in order to get it running. And then finally, we will look at some of the ingredients, what will actually help you to grow your business, ingredients that will make you to be successful in your entrepreneurship. Right. First of all, like I said, influences. What will actually influence you to start your business? And I have represented these influences in a kind of diagram model, that will help you to spot the influences. And so I'm going to ask one person, maybe you can put it in the chat, what will be looking at the diagram, the representation I've just made here, what do you think would be the first thing that you need, the first thing that will influence you to start your business? Right, let's see what it is.
So a lot of them are saying idea.
Oh, brilliant. Oh, that is great. So I am in good company tonight because you've actually spotted it very well. It is the idea. The very first thing that would influence you to start your business is the idea that you've got. Okay? And so when you have an idea, the next thing that would influence you would be, have I got the resources? Have you got the resources to put your idea into fruition, to put your idea into practice? And then once you've identified the resources that you need, which we're going to go through, then you want to see the strategy that you will use in launching your business. Okay? And after you've spotted the strategy that you're going to use in launching out, then you stop and ask yourself, who are going to be my competitors? Who am I going to compete with? Okay, because you need to know that, After you've known that, the next thing that will influence you is, have I actually got people that will patronize my business? In other words, are there customers for me? Who will be my customers? And once you've spotted that, then you look into yourself. You look inward and see the attributes that you have, certain characteristics, certain qualities that will make you to succeed, to be able to carry out the idea. Right, so that is the diagrammatical representation of the influences, okay? And this diagrammatical representation, let's see if I can change the slide. Okay, this diagrammatical representation I've just shown you is then put into a model. A model is the presentation, the diagrammatical representation, okay? And so that diagrammatical representation has now been framed into word, and it says that your intention to start your business is actually influenced by two things, two principal things. Number one is your perception. Your intention to start your own business will be influenced principally by your perception. What perception? Perception of the possible outcome, the probable outcome. Is it going to be successful or is it going to be a failure? Am I going to succeed in this business? So your perception is then influencing you into starting your business. And the second thing is the belief in yourself. Okay, what is usually called self-efficacy, okay? The belief that you will succeed, that you've got the ability in the inside of you to succeed. So those are the principal things that we saw in the diagram that I presented to you first. Now, this model of entrepreneurial potential also recognizes that apart from the influences, the two influences, apart from your perception, apart from your ability to succeed, that is self-efficacy, then there may be a third thing, a third factor, something that is completely outside those two things that can influence you to start your business. And that is a trigger. There could be a trigger, something that triggers you into going into entrepreneurship. And if I can ask you to think about anything at all that can trigger you to go into entrepreneurship, even when you were not thinking about it, even when you don't even think you can succeed, but you just find yourself doing it, what would be the trigger? An important trigger. Anybody? Right, okay, let me just help you because you may not be aware of it. I mean, let me just use a very crude example here. Now, so we all here in the United Kingdom. Take for an example, if, for instance, maybe the Germans come in to invade this country in a war, and then it cannot happen, but I'm just telling you, then we find ourselves running away to another country, and so you find that you've been displaced. And so instead for you to start looking for a job over there where you may be discriminated against, and so you find yourself into entrepreneurship. So that's a trigger. The trigger there was the war that made us to run away. So there may be a trigger, something that influences your startup, which is different from your own perception, which is different from your ability, the self-efficacy that we were talking about. And so these influences that we've just discussed, including the diagrammatical representation, has been framed into a theory. You know, some of us academics, we like to put things into theory. And so what we come up with is that entrepreneurship is an intentional behavior you have to have an intention. It's an intentional behavior. And this intentional behavior is a function of three things. Again, influenced by three things. Number one, your attitude towards starting a business. In other words, you asking yourself, is it desirable for me to start this business? So your attitude towards it. Okay. And then the second thing that influences you in this theory is the norm, society norms. Okay. And let's start with your family. Your family norms. Is your family thinking that it's a good thing to start a business? Do your friends and colleagues think it's a cool idea? Your starting a business is cool. So those are the norms that will influence you into starting your business. The next thing is the perception that we were talking about, your perceived behavioral control. Is starting a business visible for me? You ask yourself. Do I have the ability, the self-efficacy that we were talking about? Now you come to realize that what we're talking about here is the theoretical presentation of the model that we were speaking about earlier on. And so after you have got all those things that will influence you to start your business, the next thing that you need to be aware of is that you need to be sufficiently motivated. Yes, there are all these influences. So the next thing is what will actually motivate you into starting your business. Apart from the influences, what will be the main motivation? And we have actually divided this motivation into two sets of factors, okay? The first factor, the first motivation factor is called the push factors. And the second one is the pull factors, okay? So let's concentrate with the pull factors first. What is a pull factor? A pull factor is a positive force that pulls you into entrepreneurship, that attracts you, as it were, into entrepreneurship. And the lists are here. One is your desire to be independent. You want to be your own boss. So that is a pull factor, a positive influence, positive motivation, that motivates you into starting your business. You want to be your own boss. The desire to have a greater job satisfaction is also a pull factor. The next pull factor is the hobby, your hobby or interest. Perhaps the idea that you're running or what you have been doing at the moment is doing something as a hobby, not really as a business. For example, you've been knitting jumpers very well. You can knit jumpers and all you do is you knit jumpers and give it to your friends and families during their birthdays. Okay. And when they wear it, people are asking, where did you buy this from? Did you buy it from Selfridges? Did you buy it from Harrods? Not knowing it was you who did it as a hobby. But now the time comes where you want to take that hobby further and turn it into a business. So you can see turning a hobby or interest into business is a pull factor. The next factor is spotting a gap in the market. Okay, your ability to spot a gap in the market is a pull factor. Or so you want to make better use of experience or qualification. Okay, you have a qualification, you have passed your degree with innovation and entrepreneurship, but you've not been using it you've not been putting it to good advantage, to good use. And so opportunity comes and you want to put your experience or qualification into good use. That's a pull factor. A desire to be flexible, you want to be flexible. When we carry out research in our work, we come across a female entrepreneurs, most especially, who start their own business. And when we ask them what actually motivates them to start your business, they say it's the flexibility that starting their business gives them. They are flexible in starting times, going into their work, being able to combine family with children, running family with business, being able to drop their children up at schools and pick them up at school. So that affords them the flexibility they need. So that's a motivation. Finding an outlet for your creativity is another aspect of a pull factor, or even making money. Giving back to the community. Those are all pull factors. Whereas on the other hand is the push factors. Push factors are negative forces that pushes you, as it were, into entrepreneurship, into doing your own business. And some of the push factors, one is unemployment, right? You don't have any job to go to, and instead of you sitting at home watching television all the time, you want to start your business because you haven't got any paid employment. Unemployment happens to be the push factor there. Redundancy, you were working, all of a sudden your work comes to an end and you become redundant, and so you don't want to sit down and moan and cry and weep and sob, then you start your business. Or job frustration at where you are working, you are so frustrated, so bored to your eyeballs, and you want to start your business. So job frustration is a push factor. Another push factor is limited or no promotion. You've been working where you are working for a long time now, and no promotion is coming. Nobody, each time promotion comes, they bypass you and you become fed up. That is a push factor, pushing you into entrepreneurship. The next push factor is that perhaps you've been promoted, but you have reached the glass ceiling. You cannot be promoted anymore, but the ideas are still bubbling in the inside of you, and you want to make good use of these ideas that is still bubbling in the inside of you. And so what do? You start your own business. Another push factor, the last one, is the discrimination that we mentioned earlier. You've been discriminated, bypassed by, nobody wants to employ you, maybe the color of your skin, maybe your gender, maybe your age or your age, yes, all those, or even religion. So all those are the things that can, make you to be discriminated upon. So discrimination forces you, as it were, or pushes you, as it were, into entrepreneurship. So those are the pull and the push factors. And you may sit down there thinking, why is Ignatius going through all these pull and push factors? What is the significance of it? Okay. Well, as we go on, probably towards the end of this lecture, I will tell you why it is important for us to, why the motivation, why it is necessary for you to know what actually motivated you into starting your business. Because research finds out that what motivates you is important as far as success is concerned. We'll come back to that. So hold your peace at the moment and bear with me. We'll come back to why is it necessary for us to differentiate between a pull and push factor. Now, let's go into an opportunity, because you may have this, you may have all the influences, you may have the ideas, you may have a good motivation, a strong motivation to start your business, but you also need an opportunity, the right opportunity. You have to watch out for the right opportunity. And so what do we mean by an opportunity? An entrepreneurial opportunity is a situation where your products or services can be sold at a price that is greater than the cost of production. So if, for example, you have ideas, okay, that you've turned into a product or service, and yet you cannot sell it at a price that is higher than the cost of the production, then it's not a good opportunity. It's not an opportunity to begin with. So we have to go into the features. I'm going to tell you in a short while about the features of an opportunity? What would make you to recognize an opportunity where you see one? Okay, so there are 4 essential features of an opportunity, so that when you see opportunity staring at your face, you will recognize such as an opportunity if it has all these features, all the 4 features. Number 1 is demand. There must be a demand for the idea that you've got. If you have an idea, no matter how brownie it is, if there is no demand for it, if there is no need, nobody needs it, and there is no problem that your idea is coming to solve, then it's not an opportunity. The next one is that the opportunity must be innovative. Your idea must be innovative before it is a good opportunity. Now, innovation there does not necessarily mean an invention. Yes, it could be a new invention, something that has never been done before, or it could be just adding value to what has already existed, and you are adding value to it, no matter how subtle. Okay, so added value is innovation. The third feature of opportunity is visibility. Is it visible? Is it doable? Visibility means doable. Is it doable? Can it be done? Can this idea that is bubbling in my head, can it be done? If it cannot be done, then it's not an opportunity. And the fourth one is attractiveness. Attractiveness doesn't mean beautiful, it doesn't mean handsome. What it means is that does it carry a reward? Is there a potential reward? If there is a reward for the idea, for the opportunity that is staring at you, then it is the right opportunity. So those are the features, the 4 features, 4 important features of an opportunity. And that will help you to recognize it when you find one, okay? To be able to turn your idea into a business. So let's move on now and look at other situation, the startup situation. There are 3, I want to speak to you about 3 startup situations or 3 types of startups that you can engage with. There may be 1 or 2 others, very complicated, but because you have, maybe I or my other colleagues would talk about the other one that I haven't mentioned, which is probably 1 or 2, because it's too complex for you at this stage. But it suffices that I'm going to mention 2 or 3 today. 3 types of startup situations. Number 1 is that you can start a business from the scratch. The next one is that you can start a business by buying it as a going concern. And the third one that I want to discuss with you today is that you can start a business by buying a franchise. And so each one of these, we're going to discuss each one of these, and they come with advantages and disadvantages, okay? So let's start with starting a business from the scratch. What is the good thing about you starting a business from the beginning, from the scratch? The first important thing is that it gives you the opportunity to do what you like right from the start. It gives you a high level of autonomy. You can do what you want to do right from the start. And also, it is a cheaper option than all others that we're going to look at. It helps you to avoid initial purchase cost. And so you can start as little as possible. Research shows that if you have about 10,000 pounds, 17,000 pounds, you can start a business, okay? Whereas to buy a business, we're going to look at maybe more expensive than that. So it is a cheaper option than all other options that we want to look at. So those are the good advantages. That then it has its own downside. One of the downside of starting a business from the scratch is that it is potentially more risky than the other options. it is more risky than the other options. And it also takes time to build up the business because you're starting from the scratch. It's going to take you a few years to build it up and to generate income. And the third disadvantage is that you may not have any goodwill because you are starting from the scratch. It's goodwill that may come from customers, goodwill that may come from suppliers. What's goodwill? Goodwill is just reputation of your business, an intangible asset. You cannot touch it, you cannot feel it, but it's there. It makes your business, people look at your business in a nice way. So it's goodwill, it's called goodwill. So those are the advantages and disadvantages of starting your business from the scratch. Now, the next situation is buying a business as a going concern. So what is a going concern? A going concern is buying a business that is already in existence, a business that is already trading, okay? So you just go and buy it and then start to run it. It comes with also advantages and disadvantages. So one of the advantages of buying a business as a going concern is that it is less risky. It might be less risky. Why? Because it's in existence already. Why? Because it is trading already. And it has customers and supplier goodwill that we looked at in the other situation. So this one comes with the goodwill because it's a business that is already in existence. Funders or fund providers may be more ready to lend you money. Why? Because the business has been in existence and has got a track record. And so potential funders are more willing to fund your business. And it can also provide immediate income because, as I said, being in trading already, being in existence already, it means the income is still there. So it can provide you immediate income. However, the downside is that when you want to buy a business as a going concern, you must think about the purchase cost, the initial outlay. It's going to be more expensive than you starting from the scratch. Another downside is that you must ask yourself when you're buying a business as a going concern, why are they selling it? Why are the people that you're going to buy this business from, why are they selling it? You need to go into the details of why they're selling it, because there may be something there that you don't know. And then you inherit a problem. It could be the staff are not, up to scratch. Maybe the staffs are not well qualified, okay, or efficient. And then you inherit inefficiency. Or the goodwill may not last long because you buy and go, there was a goodwill there, but it may not last long because now there is a change of ownership. The customers may move away. The suppliers may not want to do business with you because they don't know you yet. Okay, so those are the downsides of buying a business as a going concern. Now the next one is buying a franchise. You can actually start a business as a franchise. Okay, and franchising has actually been in existence, has grown in the last number of years, maybe 30 years plus. Okay, and why is franchise advantageous? What are the advantages of buying a business as a franchise? Number one advantage is that the product that you are going to deal with is already established. The product or service is established. There is a know-how. The marketing function is there. The brand name is fine. The franchisor is providing training and other facilities like that. So yeah, that is attractive. That makes buying a business as a franchise attractive. Also, a franchise can benefit from what we call economies of scale. Why is that? Because the franchisor, the person that you buy it from, or other franchises of the same business may decide to buy materials or input in bulk so that it can attract some kind of discount. Okay, because when you buy something in bulk, then there is a discount, bulk buying discount, and so on and so forth. And then they begin to distribute it to all the other franchises. Okay, instead of a separate franchise buying the same thing may not get the discount that they should get. So there is this economies of scale if you operate as a franchise. And also a franchise is less risky. And funders, people who want to give you money to do the business with, may be keen to do it because, like I said, the products are established. It's a franchise, okay? So they've been trading all along. And we all know, if I were to ask you which company is perhaps the most famous example of a franchising, I'm sure you all know. And the diagram is staring at you in the face. You know, McDonald's, KFC, Subway, they're all there. You name it, you know them all. You see, so those are the examples of a franchise. And it comes with some disadvantages as well. So let's look at the disadvantages of a franchise. You may have less control if you run your business as a franchise, because the franchisor, the person who sells the franchise to you, may still be in control, may still want to have some kind of control over your business. And so you may not have the full control that you may desire. It may also require a large capital outlay. The purchase cost may be phenomenal because, like McDonald's, I mean, it's a successful business already, and you want to have a franchise, they will want you to pay a phenomenal amount for it. More expensive than you starting your own fish and chip shop or chicken and whatever, or beef burger shop. Start from small and build it up. And also, another disadvantage of franchise is that the trading area may be restricted. For example, if there is a McDonald's around the traffic light here, the next traffic light may be too near, too close, and you may not be allowed to establish another franchise the next traffic light because it's too close by. So you need to go further afield, okay? So you may be restricted as far as geographical area is concerned. Also, there might be a problem in the relationship between you and the franchisor. It could be financial problem, disputes. And also, the franchise agreement may be too strict to allow you flexibility, to allow you to be sufficiently innovative, to allow you to grow. For example, okay, McDonald's, okay, for example, they do beef burgers and so on and so forth, okay, and you want to bring goat meat into it. No matter how innovative it is, they say, no, we don't do that. What we specialize in is beef. And so you are restricted. The agreement, they restrict you from being innovative or adding some other ingredients to it, okay? Right, let's move on. Those are the advantages and disadvantages of each startup situation that we've explored. Let's bear with me, I'm struggling to change. What's going on here? Right, okay. Now we finish with the type of startups that we were looking at. Yeah, starting from the scratch, buying business as a going concern, and a franchise. Now you want to start your business. Now we want to look into the process of starting up. Starting up a business calls for a process. It has a process, you know. The process begins with the idea formulation. Remember the diagram I showed you when we started? It started with the idea. Yes, you need to come up with the idea. So that's the first process. idea formulation, and then you recognize opportunity when it shows itself, and then you start pre-planning and preparation, and then you launch, and then you have the feed stage of the process, which is the post-entry development. So let's examine each of these in turn. Idea formulation. Idea does not fall from the sky. Well, it can fall from the sky, but rarely so. You need to do some work. So first of all, you have to recognize that something has got to be done differently, okay? Recognizing how a product or service could be done in a better way. That is the starting point. Have to recognize that something can be done in a different way, okay? Or identifying a gap in the market. So that will give you the idea. Now, idea formulation can come as a result of creative thinking, okay? Lateral thinking. That is your ability to connect things that were previously unconnected. That means you're adding value, okay? And so something, for example, let me just give you an example. I don't know how, maybe some of you were not born when the first mobile phone was launched. The very first type of mobile phone, you can only make a call and receive a call. You couldn't text with it. You couldn't do anything else apart from receiving and sending out calls. But then people start thinking, ideas start coming, lateral thinking that, oh, you can send a text. And now we can actually use mobile phone to do everything that any computer does. So that is things that were initially unconnected, being connected. So that lateral thinking. And also, ideas come through brainstorming, okay, or opportunity and problem mapping. So, like I said, it doesn't fall from the sky necessarily all the time. You need to think, you need to brainstorm, a lot of successful entrepreneurs do a lot of brainstorming. Especially in the night when everything is calm, quiet, they think and think, and think. That's when you come up with things, okay? So that is idea formulation. Once you have done that, once you've got the idea in place, the next thing you want to look at is the right opportunity for you to launch. And you will have to remember the features, the 4 features of opportunity that I took you through earlier. And so at this stage, you will bring all those into your mind, okay, into the forefront. Now, but the first thing I want you to recognize or to realize is that opportunities are created by change. And what kind of change are we talking about? Could be political change, economic change, social change, demographic change, change in technology. So all those changes is what will bring you an opportunity. Okay, let me give you an example. Okay, we haven't actually finished with Brexit yet. That's a political change, a massive political change. And believe you me, Brexit is giving people opportunities to do their business, to launch their business, okay? So that's a political change that brings about opportunity. What about social change? What about this pandemic that we are in now? It's giving a lot of people an opportunity to do their work, to do their business. For example, Zoom that we are using now. I don't know about you, before the pandemic, I never heard much about Zoom. What I heard of was Skype. And Skype still remains a one-to-one video messaging or video call. Whereas Zoom took advantage, an early advantage of this present pandemic, social change. And 500 people can actually have a conference in Zoom. That is a social change, giving room or giving rise to an opportunity. And what about this changing? The example I've given here in the slide, which is change from fossil fuel to renewables. Those are the kind of changing that is taking place that can afford you with opportunity. Also, you have to be aware that opportunities are created by problems that need to be solved. And so if there's no problem to be solved, then there is no opportunity. You may have ideas, like I said earlier, but if you cannot solve any problem, then it's not an opportunity, not a good idea. And also you have to be aware that the timing of the opportunity is important. The correct timing is of essence, okay? Not waiting, contemplating, thinking, until the favorable condition passes, and then you begin to say, okay, I'm going to launch now, and that may become too late. So you have to, there's this saying that opportunity knocks once. And it is true. For example, when you wait, if you have an idea to do with Brexit and you wait until all the Brexit it's been all done and dusted, then you say, okay, I'm going to launch that. People may not be interested anymore. So you have to take advantage of the opportunity that it presents, okay? And also opportunity recognition, opportunity can be actually transferred from one place to another, okay? So yes, something that may be practiced here, but it's not practiced anywhere else, maybe in Africa, maybe in South Asia, you want to take it there, yes, that could be an opportunity. Now we finish with 2, idea formulation, opportunity recognition. Now you want to launch, you want to launch out your work. Before you launch, you need to carry out some kind of preparation. We call it pre-planning preparation. And this is the stage where you're going to decide whether you're going to do it on your own, you're going to do it alone, or you need a partner, you need someone else, someone who has the right amount of skill, that you can do business with. And you have to select it very carefully, okay? Mix the team very carefully. And this is also the stage, the pre-planning stage, where you have to come up with a business model. What is a business model? A business plan. Create a business plan that shows how the opportunity that you have recognized will help you to create revenue and financial return. Also at this stage, pre-planning stage, you need to carry out a research, market research. You need to find out whether you have customers or there will be customers for your product or service. And also at this stage, you need to carry out a market research to understand who your competitors are. You need to carry out what is called competitive analysis, competitors analysis. You want to see who they are, how their products compares with yours, what edge, what competitive advantage or edge do you have over them? So you need to carry this all out at this stage before you actually go to launch your product. As I say in the first point here, it will be a mistake, a colossal mistake for you to assume that there will be a customer for you. You need to carry out a research to see who are these customers, who are likely going to be your customers, who they are, what do they need. And so when you know their needs, the nature of the market and the potential customers, then you are ready. And also, before we move away from the pre-start planning stage, you also need to know where will this advantage, the competitive advantage, come from? Will it come from low prices? Am I going to charge a low price compared to what others are charging? Am I going to have a competitive advantage through the quality of the product or service that I'm giving out, which is differentiation? Or is it going to be customer focus? I'm going to provide customer focus, make sure that the customer sales service, after sales service is spot on. So you can add advantage, you can add value in those areas. So you have to decide at this stage where your competitive edge is going to come from. And also, it is at this stage that you're going to decide where the money is going to come from. What type of money would you need? How much would you need? What type of money would you need? Is it going to be external finance, or you're going to use internal? It's going to be just money from your pockets or friends and family. So you need to decide at this stage. Identify the sources. Where am I going to go to obtain finance to be able to run this business? Right, once you have settled that, this is the pre-start planning, then you are ready to launch. You are ready to launch out your business because you've carried out all the necessary things. You've ascertained yourself that you've got customers, you've got the money to run. But just one more thing before you get there, before you launch, you need to obtain, to protect your idea, you need to obtain what is called intellectual property right. Okay, you need to protect your idea, either through patents or trademarks or copyright. So you need to protect it. Otherwise, someone else may run away, may steal your idea and run with it. So you need to protect it. Now you've done it, you've protected it. You are now ready to launch. And then you launch. But after you have launched, after you've launched your business, you're not going to just settle back and say, yes, I've arrived. No, you haven't arrived yet, my dear. Yes, you've launched your business, but this is, you've only just started. This is where you need to actually put in a lot of more work, a lot more work. It is important at this stage for you to begin to learn quickly. This is where you want to learn your customers. What do they want from you? What makes them tick? You need to learn from your suppliers, how to deal with them, dealing with other stakeholders, finance providers. You need to be able to relate with them. And this is the stage, the post-entry stage. You settle back and learn quickly how to do it. You have to establish credibility with your customers and with all these stakeholders that I've mentioned. You also need to establish a lot of network opportunities. You need to attend networking events, because when you attend, the more networking events you attend, the more you see people like you, people that have just started or people that have started before you, what kind of problem they experienced, how they were able to settle it, and then you learn from them. So this is the stage that you need to learn very, very fast. All right. Now you've launched out, we're winding down now, and you've launched your products, okay? But you want now to see what will make you to succeed. Now you have launched your business. What will make your business to grow? What will make your business to succeed? The ingredients. Number one is the motivation and commitment that you put into the business. Remember when we looked at the push and the pull factors, and I said to you that we will return to it and see why it is important for us to distinguish between the motivations, why it is important for you to distinguish between a pull and push factor. Right. It is for the purpose of helping you to grow your business. Research has shown that businesses that are started by reason of pull factors, spotting a gap in the market, for example, such businesses do very well. Such businesses succeed more than businesses that are started by reason of push factors, something pushing you into entrepreneurship, maybe unemployment, like we mentioned, or discrimination. Now, maybe you have seen someone that actually started a business as a result of push factor, unemployment, and they succeed. And then you say, oh, Ignatius, but I know someone who has succeeded. That cannot be true. Well, research is an aggregate, you know, and averagely speaking, businesses started by reason of pull factors are more successful than businesses started by reason of push factors. And may also be that the distinction is simplistic, because in majority of cases, a business is starting with a combination of both pull and push factors, okay? So in other words, the motivation, what motivated you to start your business is an indication of whether you're going to succeed or not. If you started a business because you spotted a gap in the market, yes, you will succeed. And so that's what the researchers said. Okay, another ingredient that will make you to succeed is your ability, the skill that you've got, your skill. How are you able to manage the business? So that is what will make you succeed. Your technical skill, your managerial skill, your behavioral skill, all those will have to come into play for you to be successful. And also the need, the market need, the idea in relation to what the market actually needs. And you may think that this is even more important, because if there is no need for your product or service, then you will not succeed. Okay, so there must be a market demand, a market need for what it is that you're doing. The resources that are open to you are also important. Sufficient premises, labor, material, finance, in good measure, in sufficient measure. Those are the things that will make you to succeed. Right. Also, research has come up with some kind of key activities that are also essential in making you succeed. They suggest that you must put 6 things into place before you actually succeed. One is that you must have the ability to manage your business holistically. What does it mean? You must be able to manage your business as a whole. You must be able to manage your business have a bigger picture of your business. Not because you are an accountant or you are a salesperson, you only specialize in sales, or you only specialize in bookkeeping, or other parts of the business, you cannot handle it. No, that will not make you to succeed. You must be able to run the business holistically. In other words, you may be an accountant, but have a fair idea of the whole business. Then you must be able to communicate what it is that you are doing to your customers, to your employees, to anybody who needs information about your business. If I met you and you are being introduced to me and I ask you, what are you doing? And you struggle to communicate what you're doing, I will not take you seriously. So you should be able to speak clearly, communicate effectively to your customers, communicate effectively to your employees, what it is that you need to let them understand what you are doing. Okay, and also you have to build a fan club around your business. What that means is surround yourself with good people, people that are efficient, people that are qualified, people that are experienced in what they're doing. And also widen your talent pool. In other words, this one links with the previous one, developing a network of trusted advisors. Don't only go for people from your family to employ people who are sufficiently qualified and skilled. You also have to manage your business operation. That means, that ties up with what I said, being able to manage your business holistically, not just because you're an accountant, you only specialize in bookkeeping and you cannot do anything else in the business. They take you to any other aspect of the business, you are lost. No, you should have a best eye view of the whole business. And finally, number 6, you must be able to manage your financial resources effectively. Good things always come last. I don't know why this point came last. In fact, it could be the first one, because your business will stand or fall as a result of poor financial management. You need to control your cash flow effectively and efficiently. You need to ensure that your customers pair up, you follow up, okay? If you sell goods on credit, you need to follow up. You need to make sure your financial skills are up to scratch. And you must bank your takings daily, okay? So you don't keep money in the drawer in the office and like that all the time for 1 week or so and so forth, for even 2 days. So you need to bank your money promptly. So financial control over your business is very important. Otherwise, you will not succeed. So you'll be happy to know that we're winding up now. So let me try and summarize what we've done. Okay, so these are the factors that you actually need to consider before you start off. First of all, location. Your location is important. Where your business is located is important. Okay. Many years ago, when Tony Blair came into government as a prime minister, they asked him what he wanted to do. He said, education, education, education. And so if I were to borrow his word, I would say location, location, location. Location is very important in your business, because if your business is located at a strategic position near a train station, near where events happen, you will succeed. But on the other hand, if it is a double yellow line, people may not stop to come into your shop before they drive to find where they can park their car conveniently without taking a ticket. They've seen another shop. So your location is very important. It has to be strategically located. Equipment that you have, staffing, time commitment is important. If you haven't got time to put into your business, then don't start it. Financial commitment is equally important. You need to be committed to your business. As a matter of fact, financiers, bank managers may not lend you money if they don't see that you've already committed a reasonable amount into your business. Okay, and your interests and abilities to manage the business is important, and mostly, finally, the market demand for your product or service. Thank you very much for listening. I can take questions now.
Thank you a lot, Dr. Ekanem. That was a very insightful presentation indeed.
Thank you.
And I'd like to ask attendees today, if you have any questions, please put it in the Q&A. And I will ask Dr. Ekanem your questions. We are nearly at 5 o'clock. I know it was a long presentation, but we'll take some questions and probably take this presentation until 10 past 5 today. So questions in the Q&A, please. Okay, so we've got a question here. Doctor, what business would you suggest is the best to set up for younger people?
Wow. That's a
You're looking for ideas.
That's $1 million question. Wow, yes. If I were to answer that question very truthfully, which I am going to do, is that you should do a business that you are comfortable with. It has to come from yourself. It has to be your idea, okay? Because if I suggest something to you and it's not something that you can stay awake till late or wake up in the middle of the night and run, then don't do it. A business that comes from you is the one that if they wake you in the midnight, you run with it. If they wake you up in the morning, you run with it. If they ask you questions, you can answer. So it has to be your own, okay? And it has to meet all the ingredients that I've told you about. For example, there has to be a market for it. There must be a solution. It must be a solution to a problem. There must be a problem that is coming to solve, okay? It must be doable. You have to be able to, satisfy the use. Then it must be attractive, it must be attractive in the sense that there is a pecuniary or financial reward attached to that business. And also it must be innovative, adding value. Okay, so whatever interests you, whatever can make you stay awake all night, possibly, then go for it.
Thank you, Dr. Ekanem. So we have somebody else here saying, thank you for a great introduction to business with Middlesex. Do you focus on your asset column and control your own cash flow in life?
Oh,
You focus
yeah,
on your
that's
asset.
important. That's important. Yeah, you have to focus on your yes asset. Asset includes your stock in trade, includes your bank in hand and bank in the account. It also includes the stock that you've actually sold out. Includes the asset that the equipment that you've got. Yes, you own. But that is not all. You also have to manage the liability as well. Not only the asset, you have to manage your liability as well. For example, how much you borrow, you need to be careful, because if you borrow so much that the gearing becomes too high, you'll be in trouble. So yes, focus on the asset, but don't overlook the liabilities.
Thank you. And another person asking, would you recommend becoming an entrepreneur right off the bat, or would you recommend becoming an employee so as to gather funds first?
Oh, well, it's actually up to you. Yes, you can work to have experience. Experience matters a lot in anything that you do. Let me tell you about a story, a little story, but it's very important. It's relevant to your question. Now, a research was carried out many years ago, okay? And they were asking entrepreneurs, successful entrepreneurs, what makes them tick, what makes them succeed, okay? And so they were ticking boxes, okay? Experience, risk-taking propensity, creativity, innovative, blah, 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 blah. So they ticked everything, where they were asked to tick, what makes them tick. And so at the end, the research findings was collected, and what topped the chart was experience. What makes them succeed? They said almost all of them said experience, experience, experience. Yes, experience is important. If you have a job before you start, then depending on what job it is, it will give you the experience, managerial experience, and also entrepreneurial experience. The experience is important. On the other hand, I have still seen people who succeed without necessarily having a paid job first. So yes, I would recommend you to have a paid job. Simple for you to acquire the experience.
Thanks a lot, Dr. Ekanem.
You're welcome. Any more questions? I think we still have a few minutes. Maybe how many minutes did you have? 3 more minutes. Right. So if there are no more questions, oh, I think there is one. Is there any other question? Hello, I think there is, let's see. If you had 10,000 pounds in today's market, how would you choose? Oh, maybe it's locked out. How would you choose to use it? If you had 10,000 pounds in today's market, how would you choose to use it? Right, okay. Again, your questions are very ready. Yes, you could, I hope you are still there. You could invest your money in maybe in a Bitcoin or, this digital age, or you may choose to invest in a business, okay? Yes, investing your money in business, 10,000 pounds in business, many, many years ahead of it, you'll be doing very well. I hope that answers your question. Hello, you were locked out. Unmute yourself. Unmute yourself.
Okay, sorry about that.
Yeah, you were locked out.
Small internet problem on my end. Sorry about that.
Okay.
So all I want to say is, doesn't seem like we have more questions. No more questions. So, well, thank you for joining us this afternoon. And thank you to Dr. Ekanem for his very interesting presentation on entrepreneurship. I'd like to say, if you have any more questions or you want more information on business management, please go to our website and check out the relevant web pages there. And that's it then. That's it for today. Have a good afternoon, everybody. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much. Bye. Bye, everyone.